The annals of criminal history are filled with names that send shivers down our spines. These names are etched into our collective memory, not just for their heinous acts, but for the sheer terror they invoked in their time. Names like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy evoke immediate feelings of dread and revulsion. These notorious figures have become the very embodiment of evil, their stories retold countless times in books, documentaries, and films. These individuals, through their horrific acts, have become synonymous with evil. Their crimes were not just acts of violence but were calculated, cold-blooded, and often carried out with a chilling sense of purpose. One such name that haunts the American Southwest is David Parker Ray, more infamously known as the Toy Box Killer. Unlike the more widely known serial killers, Ray's story is shrouded in even more mystery and horror. Ray's reign of terror, spanning several decades, left an indelible mark on the quiet communities of Truth or Consequences and Elephant Butte, New Mexico. These small towns, once known for their tranquility, became the backdrop for some of the most horrifying crimes in American history. His crimes, a grotesque blend of abduction, torture, and suspected murder, were as shocking as they were depraved. Ray's methods were meticulously planned, and his ability to evade capture for so long only added to the terror he inspired. The discovery of his meticulously crafted torture chamber, a soundproof trailer he chillingly referred to as his toy box, sent shockwaves through the nation. This trailer, filled with instruments of torture, revealed the extent of his sadistic nature and the horrors his victims endured. The aftermath of Ray's capture was a mix of relief and horror. As the details of his crimes came to light, the nation grappled with the reality of the evil that had lurked in their midst. The emotional toll on the victims' families was immeasurable, and the community's sense of safety was forever altered. David Parker Ray was a predator who meticulously planned his attacks. He preyed on vulnerable women, often sex workers or those living on the fringes of society. Ray used a variety of methods to lure his victims, sometimes posing as a police officer or offering them help. Once he had gained their trust, he would overpower them, often using handcuffs and threats. Ray's true objective was not just to inflict pain, but to exert ultimate control over his victims. To achieve this, he would often drug them, inducing a state of helplessness and amnesia. At the heart of Ray's reign of terror was his toy box, a chilling testament to his depravity. This nondescript trailer parked on his property was soundproofed and outfitted with an arsenal of instruments designed for torture. Chains, whips, and clamps adorned the walls, each one a chilling reminder of the horrors inflicted within. Ray recorded his acts, his tapes and photographs serving as trophies of his cruelty. The toy box was not merely a place of torture, it was Ray's twisted playground, a realm where he reigned supreme, free to indulge his darkest fantasies. Tragically, Ray did not act alone. He had accomplices, individuals who aided and abetted his reign of terror. Among them was his girlfriend, Cindy Hendy, who actively participated in the torture and assisted in procuring victims. Even more disturbing was the involvement of Ray's own daughter, Glenda Jean Ray. These individuals, bound by twisted loyalty or fear, played a crucial role in perpetuating Ray's cycle of abuse. Section 5. A Beacon of Hope, Cynthia Jaramillo's Courageous Escape. In 1999, after years of unimaginable suffering, a light pierced the darkness. One of Ray's victims, a young woman named Cynthia Jaramillo, managed to escape her living nightmare. Her escape, a testament to the indomitable spirit that can reside even in the face of unimaginable horror, was a turning point. Jaramillo's bravery in alerting the authorities led to Ray's arrest, and the unraveling of his web of depravity. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can prevail. Section 6. The Long Arm of the Law, Capture, Conviction, and Death. The discovery of Ray's toy box and the evidence it contained sent shockwaves through law enforcement and the public alike. The toy box, a seemingly innocuous term, belied the horrors it held within. It was a chamber of unimaginable torment, filled with instruments of pain and suffering. Each item found in that box painted a grim picture of the atrocities committed by Ray. The meticulous records he kept, detailing his heinous acts, provided a chilling insight into his twisted mind. The sheer depravity of his crimes was chilling. The community, once a quiet and peaceful place, was now overshadowed by the dark legacy of Ray's actions. Families lived in fear. and the trust that once bound neighbors together was shattered. The media frenzy that followed only added to the sense of dread, as every new revelation about Ray's crime seemed more horrifying than the last. Ray was apprehended and charged with a litany of offenses, including kidnapping and torture. His arrest was a moment of relief for many, but it also marked the beginning of a long and arduous legal battle. The courtroom became a battleground, with prosecutors presenting overwhelming evidence of Ray's guilt, while his defense team tried to paint a different picture. The testimonies of survivors were particularly harrowing, as they recounted their experiences in excruciating detail. While he was the prime suspect in the disappearance of several women, no bodies were ever recovered, and he was never charged with murder. This lack of physical evidence frustrated investigators and left many questions unanswered. The families of the missing women were left in a state of limbo, unable to find closure. Despite this, the weight of the other charges ensured that Ray would face severe consequences for his actions. In 2001, Ray was sentenced to 224 years in prison, a sentence that ensured he would never again inflict his brand of evil upon another human being. The judge's decision was met with a sense of justice, but also a somber realization of the lives that had been irrevocably damaged. The sentence was a testament to the severity of Ray's crimes and the need to protect society from such malevolence. However, fate intervened, and Ray died of a heart attack in prison in 2002, his life ending as it had been lived, shrouded in darkness and brutality. His death brought a mixed sense of relief and frustration. While some felt justice had been served, others believed he had escaped the full extent of his punishment. The legacy of his crimes continued to haunt the community, a grim reminder of the evil that had once lurked in their midst. Section 7. Unanswered questions. The search for closure and the missing victims. Despite Ray's capture and imprisonment, many questions remained unanswered. The full extent of his crimes, particularly the number of his victims, remained unknown. The families of those who vanished, haunted by the specter of his crimes, were left without answers, their loved ones' fates forever shrouded in mystery. Law enforcement conducted extensive searches, particularly around Elephant Butte Lake, based on rumors and Ray's own cryptic statements. However, no bodies were ever found, leaving the families of his suspected victims trapped in a perpetual state of agonizing limbo. Section 8. The Man Behind the Monster, examining the duality of David Parker Ray. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of David Parker Ray's case was his ability to maintain a veneer of normalcy. To the outside world, he was a quiet, unassuming mechanic, a seemingly ordinary man leading an ordinary life. This stark duality, the chilling contrast between his public persona and his monstrous secret life, is a recurring theme in the annals of criminal psychology. It underscores the unsettling reality that monsters often wear the most human of faces, lurking not in the shadows but in plain sight. Section 9. Conclusion: The enduring legacy of a nightmare. The case of David Parker Ray, the toy box killer, remains a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. His story is not just one of horror, but also a stark illustration of how evil can hide in plain sight, masquerading as normalcy. Ray, who appeared to be an unassuming mechanic, harbored a sinister secret that would shock the world. His crimes, fueled by a toxic blend of sadism and a need for control, left an indelible scar on the lives of his victims and their families. The psychological and emotional trauma inflicted by Ray's actions is immeasurable, with many survivors struggling to rebuild their lives in the aftermath. The sheer brutality of his methods, combined with his meticulous planning, made him one of the most feared criminals in American history. While Ray is gone, the horrors he inflicted continue to haunt the American Southwest. The desolate landscapes and abandoned buildings serve as eerie reminders of the terror that once gripped the region. Communities that were once peaceful now carry the weight of his legacy, a constant reminder of the evil that once lurked among them. His case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, the need to trust our instincts, and the courage to speak out against those who seek to harm the vulnerable. It underscores the necessity for communities to remain alert and proactive in protecting their members. The vigilance of a community can often be the first line of defense against such predators. And for the families of those who vanished, the search for answers, for closure continues. The pain of not knowing the fate of a loved one is a wound that never fully heals. These families hold on to hope, organizing vigils and search parties, never giving up on the possibility of finding the truth. The hope, however faint, remains that one day, the full truth of David Parker Ray's crimes will be revealed, and his victims finally given the justice they deserve. This hope is a beacon of light in the darkness, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable horror, the quest for justice and truth endures.